Showtime. Fierce gunfire erupted ahead, then abruptly stopped. Frontline soldiers blocked bullets, allowing comrades to break out. The brutal battlefield was like a giant meat grinder, with the beach already dyed red with soldiers' blood. The makeshift barricades became the only shield against the landing crafts. Miller turned pale at the sight, watching soldiers searching for their own missing limbs on the ground. The air was thick with gunpowder and the metallic scent of blood, mixed with the agonizing calls for medics. Some wounded soldiers were being rescued, only to get hit again. Their bodies pressed forward through the gunfire, successfully reaching the barbed wire. This slope offered a moment of respite, but as Miller turned to ask the radio operator for help, the poor guy was immediately turned into Swiss cheese by bullets. Even the radio got wrecked, without backup. Survival was looking pretty grim. So, Miller chose to blow up the barbed wire. Subtitles. They launched a breakthrough from the weakest defensive spot as the barbed wire fence was blown open. Soldiers charged in, but casualties kept piling up. The medic was left giving out morphine to ease the pain. Miller and his team finally found some cover, but the enemy fire was intense, making it hard to spot the machine gunner. Miller creatively used a makeshift mirror to locate the enemy's gunman. They deployed a staggered attack, laying down fire on the artillery positions to buy time for the next wave of soldiers trying to break through. Miller dispatched Jackson, their best marksman, to attract enemy fire using his own body. What an incredibly brave move. Covering Jackson as he sneaked to a sandy pit for the best shooting spot, and because he was a crack shot, those enemy heads didn't stand a chance. Sure enough, with just 2 bullets, Jackson took down 2 machine gunners. With the gap wide open, it was about to get wild. Soldiers rushed in like kids to a candy store and seized the high ground, catching the reinforcements off guard. They discovered the remaining enemy hiding. Miller tossed a grenade right in, followed by a firestorm. The remaining enemies in the bunker had nowhere to run. In a bid to save their skins, some Germans surrendered, while others stubbornly refused. Only brutal retaliation awaited them. On the battlefield, surrendering was a gamble. Survival depended on luck. What did he say? What did he say? Look, I'm just here for dinner, even though we won this war. But Miller's squad paid a heavy price. Those fallen soldiers on the beach were about to become letters of doom delivered to countless families. Among them were 3 letters with the same surname, catching the staff's attention. This meant one mother would lose all 3 of her sons in one go. This letter's from Omaha Beach, and this guy's from the Pacific, while this one here got taken down in New York. Daniel. When the mother heard the distant sound of a car engine, an ominous feeling crept into her heart. Although she had braced herself, the moment she saw the priest, she collapsed, unable to accept the news of her 3 sons' fate. Word reached the Army Chief of Staff quickly. According to the intel, the 4th brother, James Ryan, was a paratrooper now deep behind enemy lines. They couldn't pinpoint his location. Sending in a rescue team would likely lead to ambush by the Germans, and Chief of Staff Jens Slater was in a bind. He pulled out a letter of condolence from the president, as one war had already caused the mother to lose 5 children. He read it aloud to warn everyone. A tragedy like that should never happen again to another mother. They had found him, and they planned to bring him back down to safety. We don't need any of these bookish soldiers who don't know how to fight coming out from there. 2 of the translators had already bitten the dust on the battlefield, so Miller led a squad of 8 brave souls in the quest to find Ryan. The soldiers were puzzled, risking their lives for some stranger. It seemed pretty wild to them. Some thought it was a waste of valuable resources. Yet Captain Miller had no complaints. He was all in just like everyone else. It mattered to him, everyone mattered. They pushed forward, and soon the sky opened up like a faucet. Subtitles. They entered a combat zone. Miller inquired about Ryan, but the troops were split by Germans. Ryan was likely west of town. After a discussion, they decided to find a way to link up with their buddies in the west. One asked curiously what Miller did before all this, but none knew Miller's background, so they started a bet. $5 each to see who could figure it out first. Winner gets $300 pot. On their way, they met a French couple whose home was war-torn. The man wanted to entrust his child to them. He figured it was the only way for the kid to survive. But soldiers had zero guarantees, and carrying a child made things even riskier. Then one soldier took the kid, and Miller rushed to stop him. "I just thought of my niece," the soldier said. Miller was furious, taking the kid back. But the next instant, the soldier was hit by a bullet. Jackson quickly assessed from the gunfire. They were hit by a sniper, and Jackson figured out the shooter was in the tower. He signaled for his buddies to take cover and find the right spot to fire back. With the buddy in distress, they hesitated. It was clear the enemy sniper wanted to bait them into making a move. When the sniper noticed Jackson's rifle, it was too late. The danger was gone, and the girl ran back to her dad. The girl scolded her dad for earlier. Sadly, the good soldier lost his life for it, and Miller stepped up to pull off the soldier's ID tag. They regrouped with their comrades, and while passing through an alley, one soldier wanted to take a breather, but he accidentally knocked over a board that collapsed, and a group of enemies appeared behind. Tension rose. They shouted in unintelligible languages, urging each other to drop weapons. Thankfully, the Western buddies showed up in the nick of time to defuse the crisis. Miller expressed their intentions, finding Ryan among his comrades. Upon learning that his supposed brother had passed away, Ryan began to cry helplessly. As it turned out, it was merely a situation where two people shared the same name. He was not the Ryan whom Miller had been searching for. One paratrooper was from the same unit as Ryan, but their drop zone had been hit by the Germans. While Ryan's whereabouts were still unknown, they knew where to go. After figuring out the coordinates, Miller decided it was time for a quick breather with his friends. Come nightfall, Miller and Mike chatted. They spoke on the loss of comrades, and Miller's hands started shaking uncontrollably. Since the war began, 94 of his soldiers had fallen. Everyone, if you're enjoying this wild ride, smash that subscribe button to follow my channel.